This is the M1 Ultra. It is a brand new 4-in-1 craft machine that I can't wait to tell you about. Let's dive in. So this is the M1 Ultra. xTool launched this machine on July 10th, 2024. So if you're watching this early, this is brand new and it's a really exciting machine. So in this video, we are going to cover exactly what this is and everything it can do. It is a 4-in-1 craft machine. So it's not just a laser. However, it does contain a laser. It has blade cutting functions that include a blade, a rotary tool, a deep cut knife, and a foil transfer tip. It can draw with pens, and there is an inkjet printer built in. So in this video, in addition to covering what this does, we're going to talk about the different bundles you can create and some pricing on them. So this is a very customizable machine. You can purchase the items that you need to create the projects that you want to create. Everything we talk about in this video is linked down in the description. So if I reference other xTool products or machines, they're down there. If I reference a specific feature of this machine, there are links for you to learn more in the description. So before we dive in, to all my crafters watching, I want you to comment and let me know what your go-to craft machine is right now. So here's a little backstory on xTool and my involvement with them. The xTool M1 is an enclosed laser and blade cutting machine. It was my first enclosed laser, and it really took laser crafting to another level for me. I was able to do so much more. And it was an expandable machine. So not only could I laser cut and engrave with the M1, but I could rise it up and create engraved tumblers and do larger projects. I could use that blade to cut vinyl and HTV. There was just so many opportunities that were opened up to me with the M1. In the meantime, xTool has come out with all kinds of different machines. You can find reviews and tutorials on all of those machines down in the description. The M1 Ultra is a product of a couple of years of research and really listening to customers on xTool's part. They have built something that's really incredible, and it's what a lot of us crafters have said we want. So let's just compare the two machines really quickly. The M1 comes with a 10-watt laser. My M1 Ultra here has a 10-watt laser module, but you can also get a 20-watt. The original M1 came with a fine point blade, which also comes with the Ultra. However, with this one, you have some interchangeable modules to add more. The accessories that came with, or you could add on to the original M1, are a riser base or some riser blocks, the RA2 Pro, which is what you use to engrave tumblers. Side note, I love that accessory. It works with almost every machine that xTool makes. There's a link to a video down in the description. If you have any xTool, get the RA2 Pro and make yourself some tumblers. Okay, so the original M1, you could add on a smoke purifier. You could add on a honeycomb base as well. You can also add air assist to the original M1. So you can do all of that on the Ultra. Plus, there is now a smart air assist option. So you can take, if you have the M1, you can take your original air assist and just pop it over and put it on the M1 Ultra, or you can order their smart air assist, which is going to adjust for, depending on what project you're doing. There is also now a desktop air purifier instead of the larger smoke purifier that sits on the ground. The final difference that I want to point out now between the two machines, the original M1 had a camera in it. The M1 Ultra does not have a camera. Now, I was big on, I need a camera on my machine until I got the xTool S1. That machine operates on a 2-point positioning system, and it's really accurate. And once you use it a couple times, it's super easy to use. So that is what this machine has. It has this 2-point positioning system, or multi-point positioning system, that helps you place your design through the software. However, you are now able to calibrate this to take a picture with your smartphone and send that picture over to your computer and then use that to help position as well. It's fairly accurate. I still tend to use the marking system, but you do have a camera option, and I'll touch on that a little bit more later. Okay, so what we're gonna do is break down each part of this machine, and I'm gonna show you what it can do. One of the things that is really cool about this is you don't have to use each part individually. When you're working with XCS, which is the xTool Creative Space software, you can use multifunction mode. So you are able to use all 4 of these, or maybe just 2, whatever you're looking for. You're able to use as many as you want in one project. So for example, I can put a piece of basswood in the machine. I can print a color image on it. Then in the software, without moving too much around, I can switch out the modules, which takes seconds. Then I can engrave some words on it, and then I can cut it out with the laser. I've done that in this cute little fall tag here, and I really like how it turned out. My favorite part is that I didn't have to jump from machine to machine. You can do it all in one. It is super easy to use and very intuitive. So some specs to get out of the way here. The size of this machine. Now, for reference, this is the machine, this is the riser. So this machine right here is only 7 inches tall. It is much more sleek. It looks more like the S1 than the original M1. So 7 inches tall, 31 inches wide, 25 inches deep. It has a fan inside with a little air filter and then a vent that can go right out your window. That opening on that vent hose is only 2.5 inches, which is a little different from some of the other lasers that xTool makes. One of the neat things I like about this is on the back of this machine where the vent hose hooks up, it's flat, which means I can push this almost all the way up against the wall. Little things, but they make a big difference. We're gonna talk about bundles and packages later, but like I mentioned, this is on the riser base. It opens. There is a cute little storage compartment here. Reminds me a lot of what you can see on like the Cricuts. And then the honeycomb can come in at different levels here. So everything is just really easy to use. Because this is a 4-in-1 craft machine, there is a lot of swapping of modules to get it to do what you want to do. At first I was a little hesitant, thinking I have to take my laser in and out when I want to switch it out for the inkjet printer. On other lasers like the S1, there are screws and cords involved in that, and it takes a couple of minutes to switch them out. So easy on this one. You have a locking lever on top, you slide the module out, put the next one in. Like seconds. It is truly easy. Feature number 1. A 10-watt laser. There is a 20-watt option as well. Mine has a 10-watt. This is fully enclosed, so it is a class 1 laser and very safe. I'm actually in my craft room here, and if you've seen any of my other videos, I now keep all of my lasers in my basement in what I call my laser room. Lots of ventilation down there. I have all these fans set up. That's where my lasers go, and that's where I craft. But this really isn't a laser, right? That's just part of it. There's so much else that you can do with the M1 Ultra. So here I am in my craft room, got a window right there to vent it out. The working area for the laser is just under 12 by 12, whether you're using the platform or the honeycomb or the riser base. When you have the riser attached to this, you can use that honeycomb at different levels. You also need the riser to accommodate the RA2 Pro to do tumblers or baseballs or anything that is cylindrical. There is an air assist option for the M1 Ultra. You can bring in the air assist that you had with your M1. So if you're upgrading, you can just use the same one. You can order air assist, or you can order their smart air assist, which is going to adjust based on what project you're doing, and you don't have to worry about it. This is a diode laser. So you are going to be able to cut and engrave anything a diode laser can do. If you're familiar with lasers, you know what that means. Just to give you a little bit of a background, you're going to be able to cut wood, leather, cardboard, paper, opaque acrylics, opaque, not clear, not translucent. You can engrave tons of materials, so stone, ceramic, glass, wood, metal, all kinds of different things with a diode laser. Some of the projects I have been making are not just straight laser projects. I've really enjoyed combining that laser with the printing or the foiling function and making some really cool things that I can't do with other machines. So let's talk about the blade function next. Inside the M1 Ultra, you're going to see 2 kind of compartments that hold your different tools. So you have the basic carriage, which holds your fine point blade. You can also put the pens in here. This is on here, it is permanent, it doesn't come off. Fine point blade is going to work just like a Cricut machine if you're familiar with that. So thin and flexible materials, paper or vinyl, HTV, iron-on, sublimation paper, all the things that you can cut with your Cricut, you can do with the fine point blade. Next to the basic carriage, you can add what's called a multi-function carriage. Inside of this is going to be able to hold the other tools. So there is a cutting blade. You might also call it like a knife blade. It's going to cut thicker materials. So thicker leather or foam, cardboard. Technically, you could even cut really thin like balsa wood with it, but you've got a laser for that. That can also hold a rotary tool. So a rotary tool is just like a manual fabric cutting tool. It's going to cut thin fabric or felt, all kinds of different materials without fraying. And finally, that is going to hold your foil tip. The foil tip is kind of dull on the bottom, and it is going to emboss or engrave a material. You put a piece of foil over the top, and it's going to push that foil into the material. You could do this on cardstock, on leather, anything that's kind of soft and is going to allow something to push into it. In this basic carriage that is permanent, this is where you can add pens. It comes with a little adapter. You put the pens in. xTool does make some 0.4 millimeter pens that you can use, but you can actually use other manufacturers' pens. I haven't played around with it too much, but see what's out there and just work and see what fits into the carriage. Oftentimes Crayola thin markers will work with these. This is probably my favorite part of the M1 Ultra because not only can this machine do all the cutting and engraving, it can print. There is not another machine out there that can print and do everything else. So already pre-launch, there have been a ton of questions on that Inkjet module, so I'm going to try to answer as many as I can. Please drop your questions down in the comments and I will be sure to answer them for you. So when you have the Inkjet module, you need to have the solid base underneath it. So even though I have my riser base here, I have the solid base just sitting in there. You need to have that. I like to use a cutting mat on the bottom so I can place my paper or my wood or whatever I'm printing on and it's not going to move around. The printing area is smaller than the regular working area. You can expect to print a full-size A4 sheet of paper. If you're looking for an image to print, you're going to want to use a bitmap image, so a PNG or a JPEG, which is most graphics or a photo that you've taken. If you're printing on white paper, there's not much adjustment you need to do. If you're printing on a piece of wood or something that is a little bit different, you're going to want to adjust the contrast a little bit and the saturation and the brightness so that your colors show up a little bit more. This is really just some tweaking that you're going to get the hang of as you do more with this machine. You can print on flat, porous materials. So paper and wood are really great. If you have a really dense material that can't absorb ink, it's not going to work. So think about this like your regular home inkjet printer. If you can print on that, you can probably print with this. This is dye ink. Again, it's what comes standard with your inkjet printers. It is not sublimation ink. It is not waterproof. The cartridge is a single cartridge that is CMY, so cayenne, magenta, and yellow. And the machine is going to mix those colors to get whatever color of the rainbow you want to print. There is no white ink in here. Yes, it can print black. It just combines those colors to print black. It has a pretty neat setup where there's a cover on the bottom of the ink cartridge, and that cover is removed to print, and then it sticks the cover back on itself when you're all done to prevent it from drying out. Yes, you can replace the ink cartridge. xTool will have those available for purchase, but it does look like you might be able to use generic or HP ink cartridges. I do not know pricing yet, and I do not know exactly what you can replace this with. However, any updates to that will be linked down in the description. I have printed a lot on this, and I have seen no decrease in color, so I hope that this is going to last a while. The printing time is pretty good because it's one cartridge and you're operating in this module. It just goes back and forth from right to left. It prints slightly slower than my standard inkjet printer, but overall I've been really happy with the speed. Again, any other questions on that inkjet module or anything else we're talking about here, please drop them in the comments. Like all xTool machines, this one's ready to go out of the box. It is thoughtfully packaged. Take the foam out, take the stuff out of the inside. There's going to be foam and some screws, and you're ready to go. The XCS software you can put on your computer or your phone. You can connect the machine via USB or Wi-Fi, and you're going to be ready to go in 15 minutes. There's very little learning curve to using this. I've showed you how to swap those modules a little bit, but it truly is easy. You just unlock it, pick it up, put it back in. Putting the different blades in, so the cutting blade or the fine point blade or the foil tip, is also really easy. It just snaps in. So it's not going to be this time-consuming process going between the functions. This is a laser, so there are some safety features here. We've got this orange top on it, so it's going to stay closed, and it's class 1 laser, so it's fully enclosed. You don't need to wear goggles. You can use this. Again, I'm in my craft room. This is the first floor of my house. I can use this around other people and know that it's safe. There is an emergency shutoff button and some fire safety features in there as well. I vent mine right out this window here, but there is also a desktop air purifier you can hook that up to as well. We talked a little bit about the camera function on this, that you can use your smartphone to take a picture and then put that into the software, or you can use the pinpoint marking system. Either one you choose, XCS is incredibly easy to use, and you're going to be creating projects in no time. If you want to use some projects that others have already made, you can do that through the XCS software as well. xTool has a lot of options for you to just start creating right away. The xTool M1 Ultra launched on July 10th, 2024. So the pricing and the bundles that I'm talking about now are in really early days, and these are going to change. So although this video won't change, the description will. So if you are watching this after July, please reference the links in the description. That is going to take you to the most up-to-date pricing and bundles. When you buy the M1 Ultra, you are going to pick the bundle that works best for you. So essentially, you're going to be customizing the machine that you want, and the price is going to be reflected accordingly. So you can get the basic machine that has the fine point blade and the laser, no riser, no honeycomb, nothing like that. And that may be enough for you, or you can expand it. The other thing I want to touch on really quick is this machine behind me right here. This is the heat press kit that xTool launched along with the M1 Ultra. I really like this, and I was gonna cover it today, but it needs its own video. So that machine, the little mini press up above, and that other little tool, I am talking about all of this next week. It'll be linked in the description. If you're a crafter and you're cutting HTV or infusible ink or sublimation paper, you might want this as well. So we'll touch on that. So let's talk about who this machine is for. Before I do that, I want you to drop me a comment. From everything you've heard already, do you think this machine might be right for you? So the M1 Ultra is not just a laser. It is so much more. It's a 4-in-1 versatile craft machine. It is the most versatile craft machine on the market right now. You can craft with precision and ease and do it quickly. The original M1 was a laser. To this day, I use my M1 for the laser. It had a blade as an added benefit, and I would cut some HTV and some vinyl. The blade was nice, but honestly, I used it more as a laser, and the blade was kind of an afterthought. It's a little bit easier to go and just use my Cricut because I had more functions built into my Cricut other than just the fine point blade that came with the original M1. The Ultra has changed that. There are so many more capabilities outside of just the laser that allow me to craft like everything. So if you are a novice crafter, you have always wanted a craft machine. Maybe you've had your eye on a Cricut or a Silhouette. Maybe you've had your eye on a laser, but man, buying 3 or 4 different machines can be really expensive. The Ultra is probably for you. take a look at that list of bundles and see what's going to work best for you. New crafters, this could definitely be right for you. If you are a Cricut user and you want to get into lasers, this might be right for you. You don't need to get rid of your Cricut. You don't need to replace it, but the ability to do different projects in one software in one machine is incredibly time saving, and it kind of makes crafting more fun when you take some of that frustration out of it. If you are looking for a powerful laser to cut acrylics and make big wood pieces, probably not for you. If you are looking at a powerful laser to do more just strictly laser type things, take a look at some of my other videos. The P2 is the laser for acrylic. The S1 also has a really big working area that you can work with wood and metal in. If you are a laser crafter and you've thought about getting into some of the softer crafts that maybe you could sell at a market, like t-shirts or tote bags or something like that, this might be a neat addition to your craft room to get you started on those softer crafts. So those are my recommendations. They're kind of all over the place because honestly, I feel like so many people could benefit from this machine. In the past, I have shared that some lasers are really not for hobbyists because they're very expensive and they're meant for small business owners who are doing a lot of production and then selling their items. This is a hobby machine that you can turn into a moneymaker for your small business if you want to. But the pricing and the features are absolutely meant for a hobbyist. So one final thought here, the M1 Ultra is built to be expandable. And what we're hearing from xTool is that there are going to be a lot of expandable options in the near future. So if you have the basic frame as we have here, you can expand it. You can expand it down the road as your needs and your projects grow. So we have touched on everything this machine can do. I am going to have more project videos coming out. For example, we are going to do the RA2 Pro with this because who doesn't love to engrave tumblers? We are going to work more with the blade functions and the laser functions. Next week, we're going to get a heat press video, and I'm going to show you how to cut sublimation paper, press it onto a shirt, and have some really cool crafts. Be sure to take a look at the links in the description where I cover all of the pricing and bundles. Again, those are changing as this product is launching. They will be updated in the description. Please drop your questions in the comments so we can chat and I can answer them for you and help you make the best buying decision. If you like this video, you found this helpful, consider subscribing. I am here every week with new videos helping you move forward in your creative journey. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.